Eminent domain allowed the city of New London, Connecticut to seize a private owner's land and house.
Eminent domain is an absolute necessity for a country, for our country.
We shouldn't have to give up our property so somebody else can make money off it. My name is Suzette Kelo. I live in New London, Connecticut, and I am Kelo in the Kelo versus the City of New London.
17 years ago, Suzette Kelo was a registered nurse living in a pink house in a sleepy New England town. She would go on to fight a historic battle against the City of New London, Connecticut for trying to seize her property. Today, Kelo's story is more relevant than ever. In the late 90s, Kelo bought her dream home.
A little slice of heaven on the water, the best house she could find for her money. 7 months after moving in, though, Kelo was told she had to move out.
You see, the City of New London, Connecticut had other plans for Suzette Kelo's neighborhood, a new pharmaceutical research facility for the Pfizer Corporation. City officials said it would bring business and jobs to the area and started buying out homeowners.
I won't leave. It's absolutely, and unless they drag me out by my ankles, I'm not going.
Many homeowners didn't want to sell, so the city tried to use the power of eminent domain to get their land.
The practice of government taking private property with what the government determines is fair compensation.
Kelo and 6 other residents organized and sued on the grounds that it was unconstitutional. After 7 years, the case reached the Supreme Court, but the court sided with the city.
The ruling was fresh and very unpopular.
But not to one infamous real estate developer.
I happen to agree with it 100%.
I think overall, if the President of the United States thinks this was a good decision, then we should all be shaking on our boots a little bit.
That's Courtney Balaker, and she's the writer and director of a new film called Little Pink House about Kelo's fight to keep her home.
When we started this whole process of putting this film together 3 years ago, we had no idea that Suzette's most famous opponent would be the President of the United States. So it's pretty mind-blowing, and it really is just sort of a coincidence that we made this film and then he all of a sudden got in the race. I think people should be very concerned.
Eminent domain is an absolute necessity for a country, for our country.
Eminent domain is consistent with Trump's authoritarian approach to government, which makes this issue more relevant than ever.
Apart from putting you in jail or killing you, to take away your home or your livelihood is about the most serious thing that a government can do.
Scott Bullock was Suzette's attorney. We caught up with him at the film's sold-out premiere at the Santa Barbara Film Festival.
Cities and developers cannot go down this path again of taking people's property and abusing the power of eminent domain.
I think it's going to make a huge statement. I really do. I really do.
Not a lot of people have the energy to do it. Not a lot of people have the courage or the principle. And what struck me was it's not like she was this retired woman looking for a cause. She was exhausted, and this was the last thing she wanted to do, but she did it anyway because it was the right thing to do.
I'm freaking out. This land is everything I have, Tim. It's all I own. It's the only thing that protects me from them.
That's Academy Award-nominated actress Catherine Keener as Kelo.
She really captured Suzette's humility and aversion to the spotlight. And what resonated with her about this story was this concept of your spot, your place. When you find your place and you can really root yourself into that place, and how disruptive that is to somebody to uproot you against your will.
What's it like to see yourself portrayed in a movie like this?
Overwhelming. It's surreal, really.
Actress Jean Tripplehorn plays Charlotte Wells, who in the movie spearheads the initiative to forcibly take Kelo's home to build Pfizer's facilities.
That character truly believed that what she was doing was right.
And she gives a voice in the film to all the typical rationales for seizing private property, namely creating jobs, economic revitalization, and restoring a sense of grandeur to a fallen industrial town.
Jean had a great way of describing it. This is a very misguided woman. Someone who was on the right path, but then went down the very, very wrong path to get what she wanted.
You see, the city didn't understand that it's impossible to put a fair price on another person's property, which is a major theme of the movie.
You know, I never noticed that locket. It's beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was my great-grandmother's.
Yeah. Would you be interested in selling it?
Oh, no. It's an heirloom, so.
500, 1,000, 2,000, I'll give you. What would it take, Lynn?
Despite the disappointing outcome of the 2005 Supreme Court case, public outrage over the issue led many states to pass laws reining in eminent domain abuse.
IJ made tremendous progress with this case, and a lot of those laws would not have gone the right way if it hadn't been for IJ, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
Oh, and Pfizer's new facility? It was never built. After the city seized and bulldozed many of the homes in the area, Pfizer walked away from the venture. Today, the site of the proposed project is a wasteland.
Don't forget, eminent domain, they get a lot of money. And you need a house in a certain location because you're going to build this massive development that's going to employ thousands of people, or you're going to build a factory that without this little house, you can't build the factory. I think eminent domain is fine.
This is a movie about insiders versus outsiders. And if you're on the inside, then you have the power. But if you're on the outside, you don't.